Here we go. Let's talk a little shop. Today we're going to talk about your slide on your candy machine. So this particular slide needs to have a hole a certain distance in from the end so it actually reaches the center of the jar, so it can actually access whatever we're trying to move outside of the jar. And then it has to have two stops on the bottom of it so it doesn't fly in or out. And then we're also going to drill, this one's been actually broken off, we're actually going to drill a hole on the end for another dowel that we'll grab a hold of and utilize for that. All right, so we're going to go over a little bit here to kind of lay this out. If you haven't already done so, this is something you can also do today. You have your 4 pieces. Right, you have your 2 slotted pieces, all right, and your 2 ends. And we need to glue these together. We actually need to create the base. And so in order to do that, it's really simple. Take your glue bottle, glue the ends, make sure you rub the glue. You don't want the glue running all over. You actually want it on the entire surface because anywhere that there's not glue, it won't stick together. So glue, 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 glue. And what we're gonna do then is kind of put them together with the glue on them, slide them back and forth to make sure they make good contact. Get your other one set up like this, and then kind of create that box that we're looking for. Once it's all glued up, we'll take a rubber band, take another rubber band like this, and the rubber band's going to be kind of what's going to hold it together, all right, while it dries. And so that's kind of what we're looking for, and then we'll go ahead and clean up the corners and the edges once it's dry. So that's something you can do if you haven't done that already today. That's just going to take some rubber bands and the glue and get that done. All right. So once we've asked you already to cut this slide, is the length of it is 8.5 inches by 2.25 inches. All right. So that's the distance. Here is the 8.5, and of course here's the 2.25. So you're going to need a tape measure or a ruler, a pencil, and probably a speed square if you can have one available to you to kind of lay this out. So the first thing we need you to do is we're going to need you to go ahead and this hole, all right, is going to come back, in this case, 2 1/8 inches, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and take your tape measure and measure it back 2 1/8, just like this. Leave our mark, take our speed square, just like that, okay? We need to find the center. You're gonna find the center, half of 2 1/4 is, so we can go ahead and do that real quick. It's actually 1 1/8 inches, so we'll have to measure back 1 1/8 inches here, and that will find the center of this, and that's where we're going to drill that hole at. So we just simply find the center, come over 1 1/8 inches, and mark that in just like that. All right, now that's where this hole is going to go here. Now we're also going to lay out where these 2 stoppers go. All right, so we need to figure that out. And so we're just going to simply come back about 3/8 of an inch on the ends. So we're going to come back 3/8. I'm going to come back 3/8 on this side, 1/8, 3/8. And we're going to go ahead and draw a line there. And we're going to draw a line there. 1/8 is the center. Inch and 1/8 here is the center. Like that. So what we did there is we came back here, 3/8 of an inch. All right, and then the center is 1 1/8. So that put us right like here. And the same thing on this side. We come down 1 1/8 inches, which put us right here. And then we come back 3/8 and where those two cross at. So we're putting a hole here, and then our large hole here. This is going to be the hole saw. These we actually will cut either with the drill press or the hand drill. All right, we can cut both of those that way. The last thing you can do is the same side as the hole. All right, so the same side as the hole. We're gonna find the center, all right, and we're gonna drill a hole there. So that's gonna be, so the hole's gonna go there. So that's gonna be here. Then we'll have our little hole there and our little hole there. Then on the end, we're gonna find the center, all right, which is 1 1/8 inches over. And we're gonna drill an end in there and put a peg in there. So we'll actually put a peg in there. Now, when we drill that, I'll show you that also. So that will kind of get us ready for that. So these are the things that I need you to do today. So when you leave today, it would be really nice to have the slide done, the hole drilled, the pegs put in, but you need to watch this video to lay all this stuff out on your slide. All right, so once you have that done, then you can go ahead and use the tools and make sure you put them in the right spot, because I'm not gonna be here to cut you a new one. And that's why we had you cut these beforehand, or had you cut them today or prior to today, so they're ready to go. So now let's go ahead and use the tools and show you how to operate these other tools and get this ready today. All right? All right, now let's go over cutting the pegs real quick. And to cut the pegs, we are going to simply use the miter boxes that we're familiar with, and either a back saw or the little saws that are in the cabinet. We're going to cut 2 small dowels, that's these ones, at 1 inch, and we're going to cut 1 large at 1 1/4 inches. So if I go ahead and do that, the small ones I can grab real quick, lay out my inches, put them with my back saws if I want here. There's 1. Okay, there's 2. You guys already know kind of how to do this. Go ahead and sand those up around the edges so they're nice and smooth. The one side's gonna go in, the other ones we want them nice and smooth. So you're gonna do that. And then we're gonna measure 1 1/4 inches on the larger one. Like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut that off as well. Okay, now I have my 1.5 inch, my 2 small inch pegs. Now I can go out and use the hole saw and the drill press and then cut my end, which I'm gonna do next. The next thing we have to do is we have to change the bit using the chuck key in the chuck. And we're going to replace it with a hole saw bit. All right, here we go. The chuck is tightened up and we have the hole saw bit in here. Now we haven't used the hole saw a whole lot. Underneath here, there is a centering bit. Looks like a regular drill bit. And we're gonna center that right where we wanna make our cut. So we're gonna bring this down and I'm gonna look right over top of this. I'm gonna make sure it's exactly where we want it to go. Okay, and then I'm gonna tighten this down. So we're good, and I'm gonna turn it on. And there's one kind of special thing with this cutter. Now I like this cutter a lot, except for, the cutter works well, but the problem is we don't want to go all the way through because this disc is going to get jammed up inside here. So we want to go ahead and when we cut this, we should have a centering bit on the other side kind of sticking out, which is exactly what we want. And I'm going to center it back up, tighten it back down. Now this is where we want to go really slow. And as soon as it cuts through, we have to stop. Because if we don't, this disc is gonna get jammed way up in here and it's gonna be pulled out and it's gonna take forever to get everybody through here. So we just wanna simply cut it once. Now I went a little too fast, I was trying to be quick. We wanna go a little slower so the actual machine does the cutting. We probably shouldn't have these black marks on there, but for what we're using it for quickly, it kind of shows you what we wanna do. So then we have our hole cut out, get that in the scrap bin, which is good. And then we can go in here and clean that up. And now we're gonna go and talk about the other two holes that we're gonna put in. All right, now we're gonna use the other drill press. This has a regular standard twist drill with a stop on it. So we have two spots that we're gonna drill those holes in. So we're gonna line them up first, lock them down, turn it on. Flip it over other side, pick it up, pull it down, line it up, lock it down. All right, here we are back, final step. We have our 3 pegs cut. We're gonna round these off so they look really nice and they're gonna go up inside here like this when we get them all done. But we are going to have to drill our hole for this top piece, all right? Now this is gonna hit this here, so you can either do 2 things. We can cut this off later, or we can kind of drill into it. It doesn't really matter how we do that. But I have the larger drill, the handheld drill set up. I have my center already laid out. I'm not gonna go really super deep here. I'm gonna set up in the top here, make sure I'm in the middle where I wanna be at. And I'm gonna just simply kind of go slow. For that, you're gonna wanna make sure it's in the center because you don't want it to break out. And then I'm gonna clean this up and this will be our handle. And then we'll have some work to do here to get these so they fit in there the right way. We'll probably trim this one down. That's our goal today. If we can get those holes all drilled, then you can go back. Of course, you can use the sander and you're gonna have to clean up. We're not using the router table yet today, but you can get these all sanded up, cleaned up, get these rounded off, pegs cut. So a lot of work to do today in the amount of time that we have, but I'm confident that you can stay busy and at least you're moving forward, which is our goal. So we can do that, we'll be doing well. Today's sponsor is Miller Welding Products. Miller leads the front lines when it comes to high quality welding supplies. This is our Digital Infinity Series welding helmet, the Stars and Stripes edition.